I think it makes sense because she needs to speak to working class swing voters, independents, Republicans who are still on the fence. I don't know if you heard from her director to 270, David Plouffe, this morning. He thinks they're still gettable. And if those are the persuadable voters, you got to get them where they are. And they're watching Fox News. The people, I mean, really MAGA type Republicans, they think Fox is too liberal. I mean, they really do. I know this because I know a few of them.
You know what?
So Fox is really a place for Nikki Haley land voters.
It's actually, I mean, I think there's a misconception about who watches Fox, right? And it's really a lot of different types of people that she might need to talk to.
Some Democrats
she might need to talk to.
I like Fox.
I was actually surprised that she's never done a Fox interview.
You know what was amazing to me about this is, she turned down the Fox News debate. They offered a debate, and she didn't want to do it. And now, with 3 weeks to go, we're scrambling over to Fox News because this campaign is in a full-blown panic. I do want to say a word about Bret Baier. Everybody seems to be crapping on him today. Bret Baier's one of the best journalists out there. He's going to ask her good questions. And if the 60 Minutes interview or The View or anything else she's done lately was hard for her, Bret Baier's going to put her through her paces. And so this is a dangerous thing because he's a real journalist who's going to ask real questions.
I don't know. Have people been attacking Bret? I feel like people have been generally praising him.
The algorithm's work in mysterious ways.
One of the better Trump interviews he conducted. So there's that.
I think it's really smart. I agree that there could be voters to be had there. And just want to say to Scott that the Kamala Harris campaign is in no way in full-blown panic. She's doing exactly what everyone was saying she needs to do. She is now everywhere, what is it called? Everything, everywhere, all at once. That's what she's doing because that's what she can be doing, right? She is expanding the map in a way that I don't think people were expecting her to do. Right now, let's just look at her coalition. Her coalition is from Bernie Sanders and AOC to Dick Cheney.
Are you saying she put
I mean, that is the kind of spectrum that you expect from a campaign that is speaking to all American voters. And her message...
Hold on. The vice president... Hold on. You said she's expanding the map?
North Carolina, Georgia, those states were not...
That's been on the map all year.
No.
Come on, guys.
North Carolina was not
No, my friend. Come on.
Hold on.
Lord have mercy.
All right, Chair Michael, go ahead.
If the vice president, and we talked about this in the previous segment, if the campaign was doing so well, if she was so ahead in the polls, she would not be going on Fox News. She would not sit down with Bret Baier. I'm almost certain if I were a Democratic strategist, I would be very concerned about potentially putting my candidate on Fox News, where she's asked a question where she doesn't appear to be well, or she doesn't answer well, I should say.
Hang on. That is one way of looking at it. But I mean, I think you could also look at it strategically as this probably should have happened earlier, whether she was up or not. I mean, when you look at someone like Pete Buttigieg, he's always on Fox.
Oh, he's great.
Listen,
he's on Fox.
Guys,
but he's good at it. She's not.
I feel like if we took names off of people's itinerary, you would look at her itinerary and be like, she's a winner and your guy's a loser. Point blank.
Why?
Because of the places she goes from the shade room to Fox. That's range, okay? Your guy doesn't do that. Your guy goes to safe spaces.
We would like to see Donald Trump. Scott, we would like to see Donald Trump here on CNN.
He did Katie Collins, did he not, in this cycle? Did he not do a
He wasn't even the nominee.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that was
He wasn't the nominee.
I've seen a number of reporting from Axios and a whole bunch of other outlets talking about how Democrats are concerned that the vice president isn't doing enough in terms of interviews, isn't doing enough in terms of campaigning on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
So clearly, folks on your side are a bit worried about where the campaign is.
I'm saying candidate for candidate, because that's what we got.
Okay.
Candidate for candidate. She has done more interviews in the short amount of time, and in a more diverse, more diverse. Yes, really. Yes.
Traditional, non-traditional.
What's the view from what they're not saying publicly on either side? I mean, I'm curious about how everybody sees this.
I think a lot of the feeling is that this is a little too late, that she should have been doing this all along, and that because she hasn't stepped into this fray, like her base was already activated the second that she was the nominee. They were so tired of Joe Biden. They were so excited. So that really Kamala Harris probably should have been doing this Fox interview about 2 months ago and defining herself. And right now, she's just really starting to define her. 'Cause what you're seeing is that she hasn't really been able to separate herself from Biden.
But in all
and that's
fairness,
the problem that they're dealing with.
she had to put together a whole campaign
Oh, this
before
has been
she
the
figured
excuse-
out what
this
she's
has
going
been
to
the
do.
you can
excuse
still do
since the first day
interviews.
she got in.
Guys,
This is
2
the
days
same
the
excuse.
Constricted
Get updated
The
excuses.
constricted time frame is actually something that she had to deal with. And if you actually want to talk about like who's in full-blown panic, who has said no to the CNN debate? Who said no
Who said
to
no
60
to the
Minutes?
Fox News debate?
Who said no to 60 Minutes? Who is now
Because
not
less
doing any
Trump
kind of
is
other
better for
interview
him.
then?
Less Trump is better for him.
Because your candidate
Exactly.
is
That's and his team knows that.
says it all, right there.
Let's Trump. Listen. You just
Go
said.
ahead,
You
go
just
ahead,
said.
Ash. Go
you
ahead,
said
go ahead.
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Thank you for
I mean, I'm a
taking the bait.
strategist. Obviously,
Thank
you're going to make
know
the best
why?
decisions
You know
for
why?
your candidate.
That's why I said candidate for candidate. Ours is doing more because when your candidate gets up
And
there,
have you seen
hold
some of
up,
the
let me
clips?
finish.
All right,
let me.
go ahead.
When you
Black woman
when your
speaking, so let me
candidate,
hush up.
thank
Go
you.
ahead.
When you're let me stop.
ahead.
Doesn't matter if I'm black woman or not. Just don't cut me off. When your candidate speaks, it's undisciplined, unhinged, disrespectful, and it hurts him. So yes, less more is better. Less Trump is better for Donald Trump.
Thinking like a
The
strategist.
problem is that if he gets 4 more years, there's no more less Trump.
Oh, Ashley.
There's no more less Trump.
Ashley,
So
is
let's-
that really going to be
so
the
let's
message
have
from
more
the
Trump.
Harris
Let me-
Walls campaign?
let's have
that
more- No, I
they
don't work
think
for
is
the
gonna
Harris
push them
Walls
over the
campaign.
finish
Let me
line?
ask you a serious question about her strategy. You seem to think that quantity is better than quality. And I know you couldn't possibly think that most of the things she has done in the last 2 weeks have been anywhere near helpful to the campaign. 60 Minutes was an abject disaster. And the little 15-second thing on The View, when she couldn't think of a single thing she would have done different than Biden, was the single worst soundbite she has uttered in this campaign. So quantity
So
here
let me
is
ask you
not
this.
quality.
Let me
Quantity
ask
is
you
not
this.
quality.
Okay, I'm gonna make you a meme. Okay, because you said she should have been doing more of this 2 months ago. So if she wasn't doing more of this, what would have been your talking point? The problem is what we're just trying to say is it doesn't matter which standard she meets.
Right.
If Donald Trump didn't even do a 60-minute interview, so don't put 60
That's
minutes
right.
in my face. Whether it was good for her or bad for her, your dude won't even go
Yeah,
on.
and on net, she
But-
came
but-
out worse for it.
But
Wait,
that's
hang
not
on.
my
I don't-
argument.
I don't know
Let's
about that.
just-
Hang on just a second.
Why
I mean,
worse?
first of all,
Dodging makes him
it
look
is
weak.
very hyperbolic
Yes,
Yeah.
it
to
does.
say that 60 Minutes was
wasn't.
an abject
Exactly.
disaster.
Immigration
Thank you.
issues alone
Look,
was a
Scott,
disaster.
I mean, Scott,
Well, no.
let's be real for a second. I mean, there were answers that you didn't like. It does not mean that it was an
Right.
abject
Not just me, it's
disaster.
like lots of voters.
And to your point, Donald Trump wasn't there.
That's
he didn't
right.
do it at all.
I mean,
That
but-
looks
but-
worse, in my
I mean,
opinion.
that's not my
the fact
argument.
that he didn't
Go
do
ahead,
it.
Tara. Yeah.
The fact that he didn't do 60 Minutes actually looks worse. It looks weak. And the
It
same,
does
and
look
when
weak.
he doesn't want to take a debate, it also
Right.
looks weak. But at the end of the day, it is much worse for those voters who are on the fence to see more Trump.